Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're going to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Invocation for Srimad Bhagavatam today. Read from the 10th canto. Oh, sorry, first canto, chapter 10. I wonder if we're putting on that. I don't know, I think it's okay. It's 110, 1 to 6. So it's six verses. So what I'm going to read is these 6 verses. I'll read them first of all. Just the verses now. I'm going to go back over some of the purports. And then I'm going to ask a few questions. So if anyone knows the answers. Everyone like to be on the hot seat and you ask the question directly and then to see the know or not. He's pretty good, Gary. I'm telling you, I'll catch you in there. So, this is the departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. Text 1. Shaulika Muni asked, after killing his enemies who desired to usurp his rightful inheritance, how did the greatest of all religious men, Maharaj Yudhishthira, assisted by his brothers, rule his subjects? Surely he could not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness. Sudha Goswami said, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthira in his own kingdom, and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Text 3. Maharaj Yudhishthira, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishmadev and Lord Sri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. 4. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the clouds showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of man in profusion. Due to its fatty milk bag and cheerful attitude, the cow used to moisten the grazing ground with milk. Next 5. The rivers, oceans, hills, mountains, forests, creepers, and active drugs in every season pay their tax quota to the king in profusion. Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold. Sometimes it's hard to keep a concentration on what's being spoken, isn't it? I'm not sure if that. I would have preferred to have it written down here and everyone could have followed it more. But can anyone guess what time did this happen in? Anyone know when this whole history has happened? Anyone here for the first time, by the way? anyone been here to tell you before? Where was it? Dwarka. Yeah. Yeah, Dwarka, sorry. Yeah, yes, it is Dwarka, actually, yeah. And what was the occasion? It's actually near Dwarka, it's actually Kurukshetra. So what's the occasion? The occasion was that this was at the end of the war. Everyone knows the war, isn't it? Kurukshetra. Mahabharata, yes. It was at the very end, and Parikshit had been saved from the various curses by Ashwatthama, and the rightful ruler was restored to the kingdom. The head of the Kurus, who was who? Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira was restored to the kingdom, and who was diminished or got rid of was Duryodhana was finished. Yes. So, but Maharaj Yudhishthira was feeling a little bit, uneasy. Can anyone say why he was feeling uneasy?
He had killed his own brothers in the war.
Not only that, but there was millions of people had been killed in this war, and he was feeling completely in distress. And even Krishna, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was there. He still didn't feel relief from the distress. So what did he do? How now at this stage now he's feeling a little bit relieved of the whole burden. Does anyone know how that happened?
Yes.
Okay, I won't ask you, Kerry. I'll give you a hint. Bed of arrows. Bhishma, exactly. So Bhishma was his kind of his grand uncle, and but he was unfortunate because he was on the wrong side of the battle. He was on Duryodhana's side because due to military alliance, he had to stay actually loyal to the Kurus basically, and so Yudhishthira was completely distraught, but Bhishma was lying on the bed of arrows. He had a will only to die when he desired to die. He didn't have to die until the time came. But what happened was that he stayed alive until Yudhishthira could come and consult him. Krishna had said to him, I want to bring you to your uncle and let's hear what he has to say. And then you have the most profound speeches, some of the most profound speeches in the Bhagavatam. Because Bhishma Dev goes and explains how this could have happened. How this happened. Bhishma was his uncle and he loved the Pandavas, but yet he found himself on the opposite side in battle. And he makes the point very clearly that Krishna didn't want Duryodhana on the throne. He didn't want it because Duryodhana represented all types of bad governments. And the reason that was because he wanted only his own glorification and satisfaction. Whereas Krishna knew that Yudhishthira would bring in a very peaceful and a very non-selfish rule. Because Yudhishthira didn't want anything. They had decided that they would only have 5 little villages instead of a whole kingdom. 5 villages is all they wanted. But Duryodhana wouldn't even allow them to have 5 villages. So what happened then subsequently was that Yudhishthira then had to have the battle. But Krishna wanted a just ruler in place at that time. So this is where we come in with the Krishna Consciousness movement. This is where we come in with how proper government should go on in society. And it comes in with ways in which ourselves, as just citizens of a state, how we can improve the workings of the state. In the purports that follow by Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, he explains that in today's society, the things which govern society are basically the same things which we're going to be born in by Duryodhana. In other words, greed, anger, illusion, and it's just wondering, how does God allow this? Like, he's after putting Yudhishthira on the throne, right? And he's after removing Duryodhana after a lot of struggle. But how does God allow this to happen in the first place? Why does he not make it just easy for all of us? And we can not just have a reasonable life without being worried about some country trying to bomb us or kill us, or even our own country trying to bomb or kill somebody else, why is it that we live in these very, very distraught scenarios? I mean, is anyone here going through any difficulty at the moment? Hands up, anybody who's not going through any difficulty at the moment. Actually, I asked this question a few weeks ago, and I noticed one person tears started coming down their eyes, because, and it's actually not really laughing about it, but it's a fact that most of us have some situation, either with our job, with our, dare I say it, with our visa, with our, like at the moment we're trying to get a cook who's been here for 4 years, and my God, trying to get his visa is like a nightmare. Whether it's a family member, whether it's marriage, whether it's a partner, whether it's mother and father, so many things can go wrong, and tend to go wrong. It's usually only a matter of time before something goes wrong. I'm not trying to be depressive here, but I'm just stating this is the reality of the situation. And there is a reason for it. There's a reason for the situation to be like this. Any answers? Anyone give me any reasons why it is like this? First of all, does everyone agree? Generally, it's pretty much the case, isn't it? So, why is it like that? You can be wrong. Don't worry about it. That's not your problem. You're not going to fail your exam if you get it wrong.
Maybe because most of the people choose Maya.
Yeah. The Maya means the illusion, and the main illusion is that we can be happy here. Isn't that strange, isn't it? We're all trying to be happy, but by being happy, we become distressed, or by trying to become happy, we get distressed. But the nature of the soul is to be happy, right? So, what is the problem there? The nature of the soul is to be happy. We're trying to be happy, yet we get distressed. What's the problem? What's the problem?
Willingness, continuously willingness.
Desire.
Want something and we are not willing.
Yeah. Desire is no wrong thing, because we're all kind of, we all want things. Like this is part of the soul. The soul desires things, and actually that's part of the soul. It desires happiness, but
We forgot Krishna.
yeah, we're looking for happiness in the wrong places.
Correct.
We're looking for happiness in the material world. So there, we've got the scenario. We're living entities. That's who we are. We want to be happy, but we're in this place which is, in the Bhagavad-gita, is described as Dukkalayama Sastratam. It is impermanent, and it is temporary, and it is miseries, like we said earlier. But we often find the reason that we come to temples, the reason that we chant, have Kirtan, is because the miseries, they tend to vanish at that time, When you come to the temple, a lot of people come, they feel a sense of relief. But the Kirtan is specifically for that purpose of glorifying God, number one. But while we're glorifying God, we find there's a byproduct of that, is that the difficulty, it goes away. And when so many living entities like which ourselves, which come together in this situation, we're all feeling that, then we actually feed off each other, we help each other in that state. You know, our happiness kind of rebounds off others, and that creates further happiness, and further, you know, and it just increases. So that's why congregational chanting is very powerful, and that's the message for this age. Congregational chanting. It's what it brings relief from suffering. That's a byproduct, as I said, but the main thing is it gives us love of God, you know, love of Krishna, by calling Krishna's names. You know, there's an amazing verse in the Bhagavad-gita. Vishaya vinivartante naraharashya dehina rasavarjam rasopya sal param drishtva nivartate. It means by, I just paraphrase it because I'm not great at the word for word translation, but it means that we have a taste for material things, but that taste actually totally diminishes when we experience a higher taste. You know, so the higher taste, what we experience at that time, is Krishna consciousness. We're conscious of Krishna, and in other words, we're conscious of God. A lot of the time, we're not conscious of God because we're conscious just of ourselves and our desires. I want, and so we're not even considering that God is in the picture. But in the congregational chanting, God is actually in the picture, but we're kind of dull to recognize God. I'm speaking for myself here, I'm not speaking for all you wonderful souls out there. But by the chanting, what happens is that the impurities in the heart, which block the soul, the consciousness from experiencing God, they're removed. The heart is cleansed of what's considered to be the dust for millions of lifetimes, many lifetimes. You know, that dust is preventing us from seeing God. Okay, so now we're getting a bit of a picture about why there is distress in this world. Because it makes us see that this is not the place where I belong. I'm not of this place. This is not the place where I should be. So what spiritual life does is that it gives us an experience of our actual self, which is the soul. You know, it gives us that experience of who we are, the spirit soul. The whole of the Bhagavatam, the whole of the Mahabharata, all of that, all of it is meant to give us that understanding of who we actually are. Can you imagine that? There's 100,000 verses in the Mahabharata, and then if you bring it down to a very concise understanding of the Bhagavad-gita, which in many verses 700 something, or is it 700 exactly? I don't know. Is it 700? Yeah. So the 700 verses in Bhagavad-gita. I can guarantee if everybody here reads that Bhagavad-gita every day for the rest of their lives, they will go back to God in the spiritual world. If they also chant Hare Krishna as well, and a certain number of rounds every day. That's what our founder, A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, that was his guarantee. And he lived that, and he was able to deliver, you know, even people in the Western world who are addicted to meat eating and gambling and illicit sex and intoxication. Like you come to Ireland, isn't it? Guinness is just something which everybody in Ireland is addicted to, or not everybody. But, you know, it's the most famous visited place in Dublin, actually, the Guinness Brew. When anyone comes as as a tourist, where's the Guinness factory? You know, it's not where's the temple, but where's the Guinness factory? But so A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami had that potency to do that, to chant. So he explained, is it okay if I go into the text now? I just want to explain a little bit what Srila Prabhupada is saying now that we've got to this stage. That this place is Tukalyama Shasvatam. We're the soul, we're eternal. You know, this is not the place where we should be, but yet we have to live here, right? Yet we have to live in this circumstance, these circumstances. We're all trying to get a job, we're trying to have a job, we're trying to in a house, have a house, trying to have a family, there's a family. You know, we're trying to do all of these things. So, you know, we do have to live here as well. So Prabhupada is going to explain a little bit about how things to watch out for. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of little alerts. Does anyone have any comments or any questions so far? Anyone like to ask anything? I don't know, just go on here. The first thing I want to talk about here is anger. Anger, which is something which actually prevents us. Okay? The world is compared to a forest fire caused by the cohesion of bamboo bushes. Such a forest fire takes place automatically, for bamboo cohesion occurs without external cause. Similarly, in the material world, and this is the sentence, this is this one. In the material world, the wrath of those who want to lord it over material nature interacts, and the fire of war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. Pretty heavy statement here. Such fires or wars take place, and the Lord has nothing to do with them. Okay? He wants to maintain the creation. He desires the mass of people to follow the right path of self-realization, which enables living beings to enter the kingdom of God. The Lord wants the suffering human beings to come back home, back to Him, and cease to suffer the threefold material pangs. The whole plan of creation, and listen very carefully, the whole plan of creation is made in that way. And one who does not come to his senses suffers in the material world by pangs inflicted by the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord, therefore, another important point, wants his bona fide representative to rule the world. Lord Shri Krishna descended to establish this sort of regime and to kill the unwanted persons who have nothing to do with his plan. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord, so that undesirable persons could get out of the world and a peaceful kingdom under his devotee could be established. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied when King Yudhishthira was on the throne and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. Okay? So can anyone answer back? Why is it that Krishna wanted Yudhishthira on the throne?
Establishment of dharma.
Yes, because he wanted to re-establish. Whose dharma?
Doing right thing is dharma.
Yeah, it's his dharma, Krishna's dharma. You know, yada yada hi dharma sya abhyutanama dharma sya tadatmanama shritana. And what is that dharma?
When any this kind of things happens, like the inequality or like some kind of people just try to just like attack on the weaks and all, and there's a lot of mishappenings. So the God will come.
Yes. Yeah. And what's his main function of? Some people say it's to destroy the envious or the demoniac, but it's also to establish the principles of religion, so that all his praja who came here, that they will then, oh, this is how I'm in the wrong place, I want to go back to the spiritual world. So that's the whole purpose of the material world. You know, that's why we're in this place. You know, so that we can learn what the spiritual world is like, and so that we can again, rejoin the spiritual dimension. That's what we need to do, what we wanted to do. There was one thing that Krishna said, or Prabhupada said just early on, which I thought was really worth mentioning, and that is there's a couple of things, but actually, the Lord has nothing to do with these wars that take place. He's just saying that they're set up in that way so that people are experiencing them because they see these things are just not the right things. And they come. Why do wars happen? Because the demonic people, they want to rule over other people. Basically, you could say. They're trying to lord it over nature. I'll give you an example of how much that goes on even today. Look at the forests in Brazil, for instance. Now, I don't know if I've never been there, but I understand that there are vast forests there, and they're very, very good for the whole cohesion of the entire planet. But yet people, because they want to kill animals and feed them food and grow grains for these animals, they destroy these forests, and therefore they interrupt the whole the whole scenario. That's because of greed. People, they're motivated. They're using the energy just for their own benefit. They're using the animals for their benefit. They're keeping slaughterhouses. They're killing animals and they're eating animals when there's no necessity. Especially when the ground and the food that is available besides eating animals is 10 times more plentiful if you didn't use it to kill animals. So these are the ways in which the living entities are destroying the planet basically, and for their own benefit. So this lording it over tendency, it's for my satisfaction. And what Prabhupada is going to show later on in these purports, I'll tell you the text later on, please read them yourselves if you want to. He says that generally what happens in this scenario when people are just trying to have things for themselves, what they do is they create a pandemonium here on earth. Pandemonium is like a hellish situation in which people are working very, 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 very hard. They're working in a very unnatural time. I mean, here mainly was in the factories and places like that. Prabhupada gave a lot of examples like that. People are working really hard to make nuts and bolts and things like this. But yet, there is a much simpler way to live, rather than the Lewis going by, the planes going by. Now, we're not going to change that situation very soon. But this type of civilization, which has a different type of motivations in this life, this is what creates all the difficulties for normal human beings just to live simply. Now, Prabhupada, one thing that he wanted was, and he tried to set this up in many, many places, was to have more simple lifestyles. Now, I'm not going to convince maybe a lot of people who are really into IT and are getting their occupations from that to suddenly, you don't need that anymore, just give it up and just live on a farm, whatever. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, basically. And it's not to say that we cannot use these material things in the service of God, okay? We can use material things like this in the service of God. It can be used. But the point is that the tendency of these things is to take us away from the more simpler lifestyles, which are more conducive to spiritual life. That's why in the Krishna Consciousness movement, we try to bring in more sattvic lifestyle. Anybody know what sattvic means? Goodness, more goodness. It means a lifestyle whereby we are clear of the, like for instance, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. This is what the material world runs on, these type of activities. So this is the type of thing which affects our lives. But basically, let me just finish with one point. Hope everybody's listening. Hands up if you're listening.
Yeah.
What did I say? It's the type of society whereby everybody is just out for themselves, okay? I, me, mine, I just look after myself, I'm number one. That type of civilization generally ends up in a kind of a capitalistic culture whereby a few people benefit and have massive wealth, and the majority of people work very, very hard just to make a living. That's what Prabhupada is explaining in some of these purports. Okay? The reason that I'm trying to say that is that we have both of those natures within us, ourselves. Okay? And the other reason that I'm trying to make this point is that I'm not trying to say that everyone here should go out tomorrow in front of Dáil, Éireann and start protesting against, you should stop this government, no. But what I am saying is that every person internally should try to diminish the lording it over nature that we have in ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? We have that tendency. We have the Duryodhana tendency. To make it clear, we don't really have the Yudhishthira tendency. We have the Yudhishthira tendency as well, but we have to, and that's what this whole 100,000 verses of the Mahabharata is about. Krishna is trying to establish Yudhishthira. We have to establish that in ourselves. The mode of goodness is a vehicle for doing that, living a very healthy lifestyle, and a lifestyle in which we call out to God for help in this world, because this is why He created this place. So therefore, He's the person to ask for help. He's the one who will give us that help. But we have to call out genuinely for Him, and that is why this place is made a little bit difficult for us to live in, like we were saying at the start, because normally the place is created for people who want to call out the things for themselves. That's what this place is about. So that we can call out the things for ourselves and we can try to be happy here. But then when we're not happy, then we turn back into God again, or we turn into something even worse. But we turn to God, and then we actually we call out and try to get some understanding of what's going on. So then Krishna comes with the Mahamantra, the holy name, and the Kirtan, which we had at the beginning. And then He comes with the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad-gita, and all of these things. And then He gives us this help to sort out what's going on here. And this is in one sense, the great benefit still that people coming from Bharat still have this desire. And they very strongly have this desire. You can I mean, I've been here for 40-something years, and I'm still seeing that people who are coming from Bharat they want spiritual life. Instead, okay, they might want Bollywood a bit as well. I'm not saying they don't, but I see a very strong desire for spiritual life, and even young people. Because believe me, it's 150 million times better than the material life, Maybe 250 million times better than the material life. It's incalculable. But the material energy, the material world, tries to pretend that, oh no, this is better. You just have this, buy this, eat this, whatever. It tries to convince you that, as this gentleman said earlier, Maya, it tries to explain that this is a better scenario. But you still are coming to God for the spirituality. And Prabhupada personally said that this world needs people like you to come and help this world in this very dark situation that it is in. I'm not saying that you have to take up a militaristic spirit or even a political spirit. I'm not saying that. But that may as well. I don't know. I can't really judge on that whole area. But what I can say is what it does need is people to accept this, the spiritual, the dharmic, the dharmic choice, basically, and just to actually spend a lot of time trying to study about this and to learn how to clear the heart of all the impurities. Because believe me, I can tell you that these impurities are can be very powerful, that they can actually let you forget Dharma. I've actually seen it here in Ireland. I've said this many times on there. When Ireland was 40, 50 years ago, there were some very good things. Okay, there were some not so good things, but there was some spirituality. People had faith in God. They actually believed in God. And with that, many people, by following that faith, at least they went to a higher place than here. But I can tell you for sure now, most people are very skeptical about any spiritual path, or maybe about spiritual path, but about God. If you try to tell people about God, they will run a mile. We were in Cork at the weekend, on Saturday, yesterday, and on Friday, and that used to be a very pious place. Had its difficulties as well, but there was a certain belief in God there. But now I can see that it's very, very difficult to actually to give persons a spiritual or for them to accept anything spiritual. I can see it's very, very difficult, and that's within the space of one generation. And that generation was accustomed to material advancement, because previously they didn't have material advancement, and therefore they were a little more simple in their outlook. But with the material benefits of material benefits of living in the EU or whatever, and their whole kind of demeanor changed, and now they're looking only for material things, and therefore they're neglecting their spiritual life, largely neglecting their spiritual life. So that is Ireland. But if you go to France, they rejected it 150 years ago. So there is a mass, especially in Europe, there is a complete demise in spiritual seeking. But yet there are brothers and sisters. We're all from the same family. We're all part of God's family, and therefore, what's needed is examples of people living a spiritual life, and therefore that people can see what is the right standard. So bringing in, and not just bringing Bhagavad-gita in or being from a country, that doesn't change people. What really changes people is first for people to change heart. We're all here in the material world together. There's a reason for that. There's a Duryodhana inside us, But the point is that we have to find the Yudhishthira there, and then we have to feed this Yudhishthira, and learn how to live properly in this world. Not to be covetous, not to just want material things, but actually to give yourselves completely, as much as we can, in whatever situation we are, to serve God. Now, in different stages of life, that might be different. For instance, like if you're just starting a family, starting a job, you do have to consider material things, because if you don't, you'll be kind of left behind. It's just the world the way it is. So you have to give a certain amount of time to those things. But if you do that only, and that's what the material world is like, you kind of give it an inch, you give it a finger, and it takes your whole arm off. You're in the rat race, and you're spinning and spinning and spinning around. You forget about God, and you just want, I need to get this house, I need to get this house, I need to get this wife, I need to get this husband, I need to get, and you're just whirled and whirled and whirled and whirled around. So the only way we can stop that is to according to Bhagavad-gita, is to adapt a sattvic lifestyle. Learn how to live properly in the world by studying Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad-gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which Krishna has carefully presented here for us. And some of the ideas I'm presenting here as well. They're not my ideas. I didn't make them up. I'm just presenting what the ideas are. Does that resonate with anybody at all? when I don't get any responses. Either everyone disagrees with me, or they're just tolerating my ranting away here. Is there any questions or any comments? You should like a seagull. No, that's okay. Seagull is commenting there. Does everyone agree? Do you agree? Okay. If everyone agrees, so what are they going to do? Everyone agrees that means you'll be chanting Hare Krishna. Everyone here is going to be chanting Hare Krishna?
Yes.
Ooh, really easy audience. There's nobody disagreeing here at all. Everyone agree with everything I said? Or is there something I said that wasn't correct? I'm not going to let you away that easy, by the way. I'm going to read something else that Prabhupada said. So I'm going to put you through another few minutes. But I do want you to concentrate. I do just want you to hear, because this is the pure devotee speaking. And, it is the potency of actually bringing us to the spiritual dimension. Okay, here we go. Prabhupada says, the basic principle of economic development is centered on land and cows. The necessities of human society are food grains, fruits, milk, minerals, clothing, wood, etc. One requires all these items to fulfill the material needs of the body. Certainly, one does not require flesh and fish or iron tools and machinery. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, all over the world, there were regulated rainfalls. Rainfalls are not the control of the human being. The heavenly king Indradev is the controller of rains, and he is the servant of the Lord. When the Lord is obeyed by the king and the people under the king's administration, they are regulated rains from the horizon, and these rains are the causes of varieties of production on the land. Okay? Does anyone ever eat their knife and fork made of steel? Not very tasty, is it? So you can't eat those things. You have to eat the produce of the land, So that's what Prabhupada is saying. I thought it was very interesting that rainfalls are not in the control of the human being. Okay? I just read an article recently that I think it's the American government, one of these superpowers, is trying to diffract the rays of the sun by using mirrors. Can you imagine? They're trying to use every possible thing in this world to get some potency or power over the world. So Prabhupada is saying this is under the control of the Supreme. Okay? Not only do regulated rains help ample production of grains and fruits, but when they combine with astronomical influences, there is ample production of valuable stones and pearls. Grains and vegetables can sumptuously feed a man and animals, and fatty cow delivers enough milk to supply a man sumptuously with vigor and vitality. If there is enough milk, enough grains, enough fruit, enough cotton, enough silk, and enough jewels, then why do people need cinemas, houses of prostitution, slaughterhouses, etc.? What is the need of an artificially luxurious life of cinemas, cars, radio, flesh, and hotels? Has this civilization produced anything but quarreling, individually and nationally? Has this civilization enhanced, here's an important one, if you listen to this, has this civilization enhanced the equality and fraternity by sending thousands of men into a hellish factory and the war fields at the whims of a particular man? Has anyone thought about that recently? War fields at the whim of a particular man. What's going on? Several people from Ukraine have come over here and are living, several devotees came. But they're telling us of people who are conscripted to armies and they're just going out and just getting killed. You know, and can you imagine, everyone in this room, right? Just say you were told tomorrow you have to go out and fight, you know, and you actually know you're going to be killed. Would you want to do that? Anyone want to do that? But that's what's happening. And that's only one place. It's probably happening in all the different wars that are going on. So Prabhu is saying, what is the need of this type of civilization? It is said here that cows used to moisten the pasturing ground with milk because their milk bags were fatty and the animals were joyful. Do they not require therefore proper protection for a joyful life of being fed with a sufficient quantity of grass in the field? Why should men kill cows for their selfish purposes? Why should man not be satisfied with fruits and milk which combined together can produce hundreds and thousands of palatable dishes? Why are there slaughterhouses all over the world to kill innocent animals? Maharaj Parikshit, grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthira, while touring his vast kingdom, saw a black man attempting to kill a cow. The king at once arrested the butcher and chastised him sufficiently. Should not a king or executive head protect the lives of the poor animals who are unable to defend themselves? Is this humanity? Are not the animals of a country's citizens also? Then why are they allowed to be butchered in organized slaughterhouses? Are these signs of equality, fraternity, and non-violence? So Prabhu's asking that question. We're talking about, see, everybody in the world, we're all brothers and we all want to have fraternity, we all want to live together, the United Nations, and they're butchering all the animals. So Prabhupada says that, are these signs of equality, fraternity, and non-violence? No, they're not. Therefore, in contrast with the modern, advanced, civilized form of government, an autocracy like Maharaj Yudhishthira's is by far superior to a so-called democracy in which animals are killed and a man less than an animal is allowed to cast vote for another less than animal man. Okay, I'll stop it here before I depress everyone. Hare Krishna. So no questions? Everyone happy? I didn't depress you to ask a question. Okay, stop there. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So the next part of the program is that we're going to have Aarti. And we want to see some handprints on the ceiling that you're all jumping up in joy at the Aarti to make up for the morbid class. We have a special event. We have 2 Bhagavad-gitas that we're going to ask everybody 2 questions, and the winners will get a Bhagavad-gita free. Okay, hand over. Okay.
don't know the answer, sorry. Put your hands up if you know the answer. What are the sons of Kirtan?
Tadka.
Yeah. Googling is not allowed.
No, I'm just for my knowledge.
If you gave me one of the two,
There is one.
yeah. Yes, please.
Shubhanu? Shubhanu?
You mean Subahu?
Shubhanu?
Not
Maricha
no.
and
Subahu, not no. Subahu?
Shubhanu?
You're saying no.
Yeah.
It's who?
Who? Yeah.
Subahu?
Yeah.
And who is the other one?
Not very sure. Maricha?
Sorry? Marisha. Thank you very much. You're very good. The books are not here yet, but we'll get the books for you, okay? Maybe somebody can help me to get the books. Babaji, you were able to help me to get the books. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Are you here for the first time?
Yeah, here for the first time.
You're the 10th person who have come here for the first time and won a Bhagavad-gita. Question now. Who killed Satya? Who killed Satya? Put your hands up if you know it, and you'll get yourself a lovely Bhagavad-gita. And when you get the Bhagavad-gita, the promise you must make is that you will read a page or a sloka a day.
Ganesh.
No, not Ganesh, no. No guessing. If you know the answer, put your hand up. And
Prabhu.
yes, Prabhu. Speak up, I can't see. Eh? I can't see.
He said Krishna.
Say loudly, no?
We say Krishna.
No.
That was the correct.
Anybody else?
Your question is who kills Tadka?
Yes.
Srina.
Very good. Shiram.
All
Okay. Good. And are you here for the first time? Okay. The books have not come yet, but meet me at the restaurant. And okay? At the restaurant, meet me and
But I have lots of
you take it, you do what you like. Once I give it to you, you do what you like. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you, Manu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So everyone could stand up for the Aarti.
Jana
Krishna Krishna Hare Jai. 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 Jai.
Go Premanande.
Glory
to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga.
Just move out.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste प्रकाशक लक्ष्मीपति श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, भक्त शिरोमणि श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Hare Krishna. So thank you everyone for joining today. So the prasadam will be started in 10 minutes. They are doing the setup downstairs. So we'll be having some kirtan. So there are few announcements. We are open for the Sunday feast sponsorship. So if anybody would like to sponsor, so they can sponsor the Sunday festival. So you can contact on the WhatsApp number of the temple, and or you can else contact Hare Prabhu. So they can sponsor for any birthday or any other occasion. And we'll be having Janmashtami festival as well. For that, the announcement will be done next week. So thank you so much. So there will be some kirtan for 10-15 minutes, and then you can go for prasadam downstairs. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I just want to say that it's a great opportunity to sponsor, for somebody, some relatives, some friends, because the Sunday feast has been, we're going to feed about 200 people in honor of one person, So it's an incredible thing to do, that you're actually feeding all these souls the Mahaprasadam, and that is one of the most pious things you can do in this age. So anyone likes to think ahead, like a couple of weeks ahead or the months ahead, in honor of somebody, if they want to sponsor the feast, please do. It's free to do so. Kirtan, yes. Okay.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Everyone, put your arms in the air. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare last one. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I think time for prasad. That's it. Krishna wanted to change the things because when you had some war, if you had some hell, it was